Hello Internet people. Today we are going to work on this issue. It's about forking repositories, basically forking Copper projects, make sure that the results of those Copper projects are forked in the Pulp storage. This part is completely done. So this part is completely done. And Fedora branching. This means when a new Fedora is branched from rawhide, then we need to copy the results from the results for all rawhide builds into the newly branched Fedora 44, for example, results directories in the storage. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Anyway, we have this working on our backend storage for, I would say, 5 years now. But we need to implement the same feature for Pulp. And by the way, it's not copying the data on the backend storage, it just symlinks the data. Because it's within the same Copper project, so it's signed by the same key, and therefore we don't have to copy it. So we need to implement this for our newly supported Pulp storage. I briefly took a look at the issue maybe 2 weeks ago, or on the implementation 2 weeks ago, and it's much more complicated than I would want it to be. Well, not I would want it to be. It's not complicated unnecessarily, it's just a complicated topic. But it's complicated, and I don't expect us to finish this within an hour. Not at all. It will probably take me this whole workday to do it right. Because implementation is one part, but this feature is not that well tested, and we definitely need to make sure it works correctly, because it's being run only every half a year, so we will definitely forget every change that we did, and it works with like a lot of data, and if we create the data incorrectly, we create a lot of incorrect data. So fixing potential issues could be very painful here, so we need to test this properly. Anyway, enough talking, let's jump into it. So yesterday yesterday I worked 2 minutes on this, so this is as far as I got. This is a code for the command that starts the whole process, which is this one. Basically, Copper frontend, branch Fedora, and you say a number, and this Fedora gets branched from the rawhide. As you can see, I only did one line change. You cannot see it here, I will show a div. I did only a one line change, which adds this storage here. it's none. That's a no problem. None. Basically, once we work with this action, this generates an action that is going to be processed by Copper backend. And I think Copper backend should be able to interpret none as basically this is the backend storage, not the Pulp storage. Other than that, we have numeric values like enum, basically. So 0 would be backend, 1 would be Pulp. Yeah, so this is the one line change I did. I added the storage here. So now, when processing this on backend, we can decide based on the storage what we want to do. So I think this part is fine. We can get rid of the breakpoint. I will show you the diff. And it's this one. By the way, what branch are we on? Yeah, we are definitely on the wrong branch here. So let's go to main. Maybe let's git stash and pull. Conflicting branches. Okay, but that's something I don't care about. I have never seen this issue before and I don't want to deal with this, come on. I probably need to delete a branch, I guess. If I do git branch, grab GitHub script. Grab depend, nope, maybe it's incorrect. Yeah, that's the thing I need before. But that's always the case. You just wake up and you want to tackle a hard problem and you get blocked by small issue like this. If we do all git branch delete, I don't know what happened, not defined. And if we do dependable only, that's not defined either, right? Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to. I think it's something obvious, but I just the Pulp. Yeah, I think it's something obvious, but like my first 5 minutes on camera today, and my brain isn't working yet, and yeah, let's skip this. So Pulp branch, Fedora branch, branching Fedora, let's say status, we are on Pulp branching Fedora. Now we established this is a front-end code that generates the action. Actually many actions, because you can see this is a for loop over copper dirs, and every time it sends an action. So we need to jump on backend actions by and here should be something like rawhide, yes, rawhide to release, see this one. So this action gets executed. this action gets executed. This action gets executed. Now, we probably need to take most of the code, because this is backend specific code. You can see it runs copy tree and so on. So it copies data on the backend storage directory. We need to take this and put it into our storage file, and we have a backend storage class here, and we also have a Pulp storage class here. So we need to probably add a new methods for those. I'm not sure. Maybe we already implement all of the necessary stuff and we just call it. I'm not sure. Let's take a look what this actually does. So write to release action. It figures out the data which we have seen right here. So it knows about build directories. We have maybe these tags in Pulp, I'm not sure. Copper directory. So this is basically a project name, but it can differ. But we can see that the action is generated per copper directory. Row height shoot, sure. Storage. Okay, so we have this data, nothing like too surprising. Then we figure out a path on the backend. So this is varlib copper copper public something / results / owner name / copper directory, which is basically a project name, and / dest root. Dest root is this. Okay, so we wanted Fedora 44. We get the Fedora 44 root name, and this is generated per. This is the action is also generated per architecture. Okay. So if the path exists, if it doesn't exist, we create it. Sure. So if we run this command twice, it won't fail. This would be an equivalent of creating a Pulp project, a Pulp repository, and Pulp distribution, not running a create repo inside of it, which means not creating a publication. Then for every build directory, as you can see, we iterate over this. For every build directory, we figure out the source directory, and if it exists, then it can not exist when it was pruned after 14 days, I think. Or maybe it's just a safeguard. I'm not sure. To not like trace back in if something is horribly wrong. Not sure. That's not important. Test data, sure, it figures out where the build data should go. And it copies the directory. And as I've seen the copy tree, I thought I lied to you by symlinking it. But as you can see, we don't copy actually, we hard link. Not symlink. Okay, I was partial lying. It's hard link, not symlink. And then, okay, this is all like expected. In Pulp, we have forking, and forking does we do project forking in Pulp the most stupid, naive, not 200 IQ implementation that you can imagine. We basically download all the RPMs from Pulp to Copper to some temporary directory, and then upload them back again to Pulp to the new project. And we do this because we need to delete the old GPG keys that signed the RPMs, and we need to sign the RPMs with new keys. And Pulp can do this, but at this point of our migration to Pulp, we still do signing on our servers with our tools. So there was no other way, we need to download it. Now this is a different case because we branched data within the same project, so the same keys should stay there. So we need to take a look at the Pulp API if it can take an existing RPM file and put it inside of a new distribution or repository, not sure about those. And as I'm saying it out loud, it most definitely can. Of course it can. I've done it 1,000 times. So we won't use our already existing forking code. We will only use the code to figure out the packages inside of the distribution, and we will probably implement a new API like client code to push it to Pulp. Okay, that's fine. We know how to do well. Nothing extraordinarily hard here, and this is what I'm curious about. So we open build info, and for appending and write from root. Okay, so this is going to be done on backend every time because build info file is not in Pulp right now, and we need to do this regardless of the storage. Also, as I'm thinking about it, we need to do all of this on backend as well, because even though it may be a Pulp project, because there are log files, there are info files, there are mock configs and so on that is on the backend. So we need to do all of this. So we probably won't move this anywhere. I need to take my previous approach was to have two storage objects, one for backend storage, one for Pulp storage, and basically I would run backend storage dot rawhide to release, and then I would call Pulp storage dot rawhide to release. That would mean the forking would be done on both storages, and basically the storage implementations wouldn't know that it is being done on the other storage also, or any implementation details of the other storage. I kind of like that idea, but during a pull request review, it came out it's maybe not as easy to understand as I thought it would be. So we decided to go another approach, and I'm not exactly sure what was the approach. So we want to take a look at the code that I ultimately committed, and do it the same way. Maybe the logic would be mixed here, or maybe the logic would be mixed in the Pulp storage class. I'm not sure. Either way, we need to run this for both storages in case it's a Pulp project. So this would be the exception, because if this is a Pulp project, we won't run create repo repeatedly, because then no RPMs would be on the backend, so we don't need to create the repository. Except exception is always fun, but we will probably keep that. I don't want to. Yeah, we will keep that. It's already there. Unexpected error when forking. Sure. And create repo repeatedly means what? Call create repo, and if it failed, try again. This is interesting. Do we know why it was done this way? Blame. So I implemented it, and not so far ago. Okay. Except exception is also my work, but there was only except, so this is slightly better. Anyway, let's see what issue we had. Okay, so we don't have the log available anymore. Oh yes, oh yeah, oh yes, I remember this one. So sometimes it just didn't generate the repository correctly. It happened, and people had to manually click the regenerate button, and it always helped. So this was me saying, okay, enough, and put the cade repo in a loop. So we can actually keep this function, no problem. We will just, instead of call copy repo, call basically a create repo from the storage class. That's all pretty good. So what now? Let's take a look how I remembered what feature was done in the similar way. It was the forking one. So let's take a look at fork. And this is the code to handle fork actions. And I used both storages here. But now probably both doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what storage is used. We need to fork on backend anyway. See? So we have this. And we just call self backend storage do something. And only for this instance we fork also in Pulp storage. That's nice. So I'm thinking of something very similar to that. And if I go to here, the second one would be Pulp probably. No. So this is the Pulp one. Fork build. Is there any copying done? Maybe not. Is this, by the way, is this pushed? Git link dispatch on the main branch on the origin remote. Do we have this code? Just checking if it wasn't related to the weird rebase issue that we had in the beginning. Yes, this is in fact in the main branch. Therefore, I can close this. Okay, let's do a similar thing. We probably don't need the buffer on the left, so we can open actions again, and we can jump to rawhide to release and here. So first things first, can we run this so that we get a debugger and we can rerun again and again and again so we can develop on this? So I want to kill this, and let me think. So okay, let's put for the time being, let's put sys exit 1 here or 0 here and import sys. So this will generate us only one action and stop. Okay. We will run this. Now let's kill action. No. Let's comment this out for a second and run actions. Now we will run this. This should create one action for us. This action should get processed once we run the web server. So let's see, we can follow our logs here, start the web server. Now it should get taken by backend. Okay. Got a new action. There are two actions. Okay. Oh, because one is create repo and one is what? Create repo finished. Either way, we have these two, 81, 82. So we can jump here and run action. So this was which one? This was row height release action. Okay. What was the second one? Action create repo. Okay. Okay, so we are more curious about the first one. And if we run it again, it succeeds. Run it again, it succeeds. It succeeds. So it's idempotent. We can run it as many times as we, oh, it's not, the implication is not it's idempotent, but we can run it any times we want to, and it succeeds. Now we can jump back to code, uncomment the debugger here, and we should, yeah, we are in the debugger. We can step through the function. Nice. So what now? What now? I want to see what's our source there. So our source there is this. And of course this, sure, no. Of course this doesn't exist because this is a production dump of the database and so on. But we can probably do something like this. Var let copy public HTML results. What do we have here? We have some Fedora review here. Do we really? Fedora review. Oh, because we are CPing, not LSing. Oh, we created. Sure, I get it now. We created the I don't know why there is no tab completion. Okay, interesting. Anyway, we created the forked directory. So if we put some data, like some fake data, into the source directory, like if we take a look at firstix, sure, where is some data actually? This is all pulp, test migration. Okay, whatever is here. Fedora 41 here, and there is no RPM. That's sad. If we go test, I don't know, backend devel, raw height 0 0, and we have results here. Okay, perfect. So if we fake this and say that Fedora row height x664 and we copy it like this, how does this look like? Okay, and if we run the action again, data, so it expects this build, so it will expect this build directory. So if we move the completion is killing me, I don't know why. So see, I can tap nothing. So if we move this into by move I mean rename into this, now it should actually fork it while running the action. Let's see. Do I have still this open? Yes. Let's kill this and run again. Yes. So next, and if we do ls in here, see, we faked it. Okay, good. So we now faked our environment so that we can run the action and actually copy data, right? So good. What now? What now? We know we cannot do create repo like this. So if I go here, we have repo data, right? If I remove the repo data, run the task, file exists. Okay. So this cannot be actually executed several times? Come on. I would like it to be. So copy tree. Does copy tree have something like exist okay? Ignore. Nope. So if I would do something like this, and OS path exists dest dir, which will of course be not like this, then can we run it again? Sure, and we can run it as many times as we want. And if we take a look here, the repo data that we removed is now there again. Good. So now we can work on this part. We can I need to switch my music. Okay, and we are back. So we can change this function to use our storage. So if we search for create repo, we actually should be call copper repo. Call copper repo. See, we call it in init project. And we call it in publish repository. Delete builds. Okay, so we definitely want publish repository, right? So this returns call create repo, which is exactly what we would be calling here. Publish repository also exists for Pulp. Funny thing is, it does nothing. But maybe that won't be an issue. Occurs after each repository version is created. So wherever we call create repository version, then it gets created automatically. We call this when forking a build. Okay, we won't run here, and that's it. Oh, we probably call it somewhere in actions as well. No, we call it in build maybe. I guess we call it in background worker build. Oh, this is test. Background worker build here. Yes, see, we call it after uploading results to storage. Okay. Okay, that is no problem. Maybe. So we can. Okay, that's not pretty. That's not pretty, but okay. Okay, that's not pretty, but maybe let's do it like this. I want a condition if this is a pulp storage. So pulp storage, we established this is how we do the conditions. So I would do, if this storage is pulp storage, then I want to do something like self storage. Let's copy this. And as I see it now, it kinda maybe cannot succeed. Content package refs. Oh yes, this is perfect for our case actually. That's good. That's good. Either way. So project name truth. I don't like this very much. Result. What is the result? This is whatever is resulted by upload build results. Which will be the same as upload build results. This is package refs. This is perfect. So let's say we have package refs, which will be an empty list, and this will be package refs. Now self job truth. Is that correct or is it not correct? Let's jump here and run this. Self, oh, we are probably in the other breakpoint, but this doesn't matter. Self job truth, which is of course not existing. So we actually want the source there that this self opts this there, probably self opts dest there. No, definite. Oh no, not there. No, not there. We want only the truth name. And truth name, I know it's somewhere in the data. Truth, dest truth. Do we use it anywhere? Dest truth. Oh yes, it's here. So truth there. Oh, I see. So we pass this. This is. Ooh. let's do it now. Let's do it stupidly so we can move, and we will refactor later. So apart from truth, we will also put truth here, so that this can be truth. And as we call this, okay, repeatedly, we will put, nope, typo, what, like this, what my keyboard is doing crazy stuff. We will put data dest truth here. Okay. Also, self-job project dir name also doesn't work for us. By the way, is this a full dir name with also owner name in it, or is it just the, basically this? So let's put this here, and let's also expect dir name. See, the I is here as well. Dir name. Do I have to buy a new keyboard or what? Maybe clean this one. Now, okay, and we maybe want to run that in loop as well. So we would do something like, and like this, right? So if this is a pulp storage, and then I don't want to actually do else, because what if we add new storage in the future? Maybe let's do just, the backend storage like this. Okay, yeah, that would be fine. And we will do it like this. Okay, this is not pretty, but whatever. Package refs. Okay, this is pop specific. Let's put it here. So this is ugly, but whatever. If we run this, nothing crazy should happen, because we don't have any pulp. Like, our storage class isn't this, right? It's false. So we will only get to this and run the exact same thing we ran before, but we can see for ourselves again. Continue ls, so it gets the repo data. So this now works for backend. No, it not now works, it still works. Which is cool. Now, we need to, what do we need to do now? I don't want to test this actually at the moment, because I would like to pretend the Pulp implementation works as well. and only change all those backend related stuff that need to change and make sure backend still works. And then stop pretending and actually run this on a Pulp project and see it all fail and burn, and then fix those. So what changes do we need to do to the backend code? As we established, this is not the same because I mean this was the part that shouldn't run, and we just you know what we did. Okay, so I mean, all of this needs to happen. So we basically the question is, can we have a function on storage classes that would say fork build? Does this, what part is actually fork build? That's probably this part, right? Because this creates the project. So this is a create project thing, and so we have init project for init, yeah, I think storage init project for that. And this is fork build. So I would abstract this. I would actually abstract this. So do we have fork build? We actually have fork build. What it does on backend. We have root, sure, old path, new path, source directory. This is this one. Desk directory. This is this one. Owner, and so on. Okay. Oh, the thing is, we are hard linking here, so we cannot, or we can. We actually can move it here, right? But those paths are still calculated somewhere. And we would need to calculate them. We still need to calculate them here. If we ensure directory exists, sure, this is this actually. I mean, we don't help ourselves if we do this, but we need somewhere to write the What does... Do we have fork build for Pulp? Oh yes, we do, which is the uber complicated code for downloading and resigning probably. Yeah, this is not what we want to use at all. So I think we are going to do it differently. We are going to do the stupid approach again, because we are stupid. And by we, I mean I. And we will take a condition like this. And we will put it right the fuck here. As we said before, we need to do all of this and all of this for both storages. But only for Pulp storage, we need to also do it in Pulp. And we'll put the code right here. And we'll abstract later. So this is already done. This part is going to be init project. So init, say my keyboard again, init project in Pulp storage. It expects, oh, that's pretty. So we are going to do self storage init project on dir name. We have our dir name, which is copper dir, right? Oh, yes, definitely. So the name chroot is the destination chroot. So this is it, right? The line is too long, so we will wrap it. And the reason will be we need to see a reason in reason let's go to common enums reason new project, new chroot, copper there. So I think a reason for running create repo isn't actually row height to release. Because the reason is we are creating a new chroot. At least here. The call later is maybe different, but at least here we are creating a new chroot. That's right. So the reason would be, we don't have reason imported here. Okay, common enums. Storage enum reason. And that's not reason, of course, that's create repo reason. Jump again back, create repo reason, and this will be a new chroot, right? So this is pretty ugly, but what ifs? At this point we have let's pretend we have a Pulp project. We create the directories on backend, and we create the repository distribution and so on in Pulp. If it's backend project, it only does this, and this is ignored. Now we need to do the same thing here. So here we can have the same condition. If Pulp storage, then something. Whatever is that going to be? That is going to be, we need to figure out all the RPMs that's inside of the old directory or old distribution with this build. We need to figure out them. Get package refs, and then actually we need to let me see the create repository version again. Create repository version, get the repository add content. Oh, I see. I see. Dir name root package refs. Right. And our distribution points to the repository, so we don't have to update the repository, the distribution. So, right, I think this is actually incorrect. I think this is actually incorrect. And this is going to be the thing that is going to be run here. Which basically is equivalent to the copy tree. And our dir name copy tree, I mean this, so dir name and root did I have them incorrectly? Oh no, it's root there, right? And this. There. No. 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 Do I have it incorrectly? So anyway, because we are stupid, we will run it again. That's a no problem. So I see. This actually should be outside of this, because we don't care what it looks like on backend storage. Regardless of that, we want to do the Pulp thing. So now we know that we need dir name, right? So data dir name is looking just at the data copper dir. This is it. Yes, this is it. So copper dir. We want that first argument dir name. So yeah, I think this was incorrect order. Either way, copper dir. The second is truth. That's truth. That's correct. And package refs, which is so far empty list. Now, remove the added para arguments. Right, that's, and this can all go away. Maybe let's keep this as a comment and do it like this. I think this is actually our, like, yeah, you can see there's only added code, added commented code. Now we can do if this return if this is if this project stores RPMs in Pulp, there is no need to run the create repo on backend because there are no packages there. There are no packages there, and we don't need to explicitly call create repo, call publish, explicitly do publish for publish in Pulp, because it does it implicitly. So maybe let's do this right now. I know we spent some time on this and now it's useless. That's how it is every time. So our previous goal of the, yes, these two were added. Now they are useless. What's the time, by the way? Okay, fine. So at this point, actually, I think we are progressing very well, because at this point we only need to figure out package refs of the previous package refs of the build in the rawhide distribution repository, whatever, And that's it. And then we need to test this for a Pulp project. Good. How do we figure it out? Not sure. But first things first, I need to take a look when is my meeting going to start, so that we know how much time I have. So my meeting starts in 50 minutes. So let's say we can continue for another half an hour. That's nice. Good. So how do we figure it out? I think we have some functions related to content. For build, add content, get content. Okay. So this is actually in the Pulp client. Get content, build IDs, shrewd. This is perfect, actually, because that's the criteria for searching that we actually have. And I'm glad I added the shrewd parameter here in some pull request. And then it turned out I don't need it actually. But I said, let's keep it in because it might be useful in the future. I don't say this often because it may be useful in the future is a stupid argument and adds a lot of useless code. But in this case, I thought I will actually need it. And it seems that was a good call. So we can now do something like, by the way, what it returns, I think it doesn't actually return the, oh yes, see, it returns the PRNs, which I have no idea what it is, but don't Google Pulp PRN, by the way, if you're at work, at least. But it returns also location href, which should be the href we are interested in. So package hrefs. Okay, so here we will do self-storage client, which is not ideal. We don't want in actions actually to call the Pulp client directly, but at this point where we don't have figured out the abstractions yet, it doesn't matter. And get content, and the criteria is build IDs. So this will be just a list. This will be a list because it needs to be IDs, but it will be just one build ID, right? And the build ID is this one, but maybe we have a variable for that. Let's say build ID for now. And let's say build ID is none, so it's not underlined. Build ID and shrewd. Now, the shrewd isn't the destination shrewd that we had before. It needs to be the source shrewd, the rawhide shrewd. So it will be data row height root. And of course I wrote it completely incorrectly because it needs to be like this, right? So build IDs root, build IDs in a list root. To be sure, we can, yes. Now, what is the build ID? That is the question. Also, this will return what exactly? Yes, this will return a response. So we will need to go into, like if we look for usages, it actually is a response. Get content, yes. So this is a response. On that response, we can get the RPMs like this, and the RPMs should be like tuples or something like that, and we need to take the values from there. So for every RPM, we do here RPM and take the location. We don't need the location ref. This is a download URL. We need the pulp ref, and there will definitely be a pulp ref. Anyway, let's say let's collect the location refs, even though they are wrong, but just so that we know at least some part of the code works. So let's say package refs will be RPM will be exactly this for RPM in RPMs, and we can delete this. So now we have package refs, and they are wrong, so that we don't forget, import sys and sys exit 1. Okay, so, and put debugger here. Now this is nice. At this point, we are at the stage where we need to run this for a Pulp project so that we can debug this. Maybe we can kill this and run again, and so where are we actually? 422. Yes, this is the breakpoint. Of course. When we run this for Pulp, we will get here. Not now. So if we kill this and run again, okay, this works. This works. Perfect. So let's do Pulp. The question is how to best test this. I don't want to run the row height to release for all the projects locally, because then it would generate thousands of actions and that will be annoying to search in. So let's go back to our rawhide to release on front end. So we exited after one action. Keep it here. Just for, of course, testing or development. Now, copper, dear, copper. Okay, so what if we, for development purposes, of course, if copper storage not equals 1, which is pulp storage. We have enum for that. We can do storage enum equals pulp, but it's maybe not imported here and so on. So this is good enough because we are not going to commit it, of course. And then continue. So now we should at least get all the pulp projects, right? So if we kill this and run the branch again, what action we will generate? Processing directory pulp test. Interesting. So if we take a look at pulp, so pulp content, see, no, okay, this sucks because I don't have the results. This is again a project for like a production data dumped from the production database, so I don't have the results for that in my local pulp instance. So we will need to find a project here that has data in rawhide. For example, what can it be? Test pulp publish, I don't know. This is not a rawhide, this is not a rawhide. Do we have a rawhide somewhere, please? Test pulp devel. Here is rawhide, but this is completely maybe this could be this is old though, and it's probably not labeled. So we will do a different, okay, we will do it differently. We won't do any crazy pretending. Yeah. So no. We will run the server locally, of course. We will create a new project, test pulp branching, and we will add a rawhide. Okay, good enough for now. And we cannot do it like this because we don't have an option to say it's a pulp project. So create copper config docker create, yes, this is just pulp branching chroot rawhide storage pulp. Now open this. This is localhost. We have the project rawhide chroot. For some reason I'm not logged in because localhost versus 127 whatever .1. So now we are logged in. We are in the Pulp project, we can build this. And what the hell? We can build another one, which will be hello. This is already running, good. Okay, so this should finish after maybe 3 minutes. I'm going to go to the restroom for 2 minutes and we'll be back. Please tell me it finished successfully. Oh, of course. So we need to open this in a new. Go localhost. Okay, this isn't even there. Strange. Localhost. Waiting for copper base repository. Worker failed already, so giving up because of the repository. What the hell? No, I don't want to deal with this right now. Let me put on some music. Good. Why did this happen? Because of course. Okay, this is a simple explanation though. Because our action dispatcher isn't running, because we're experimenting. Actions. Because our dispatcher wasn't running. When we created the project, it couldn't create all the actions necessary to prepare the repositories, and therefore it failed. So we now ran the action dispatcher. If you open log, it publishes something. This is, yes, see, we generated the GPG key now, and we probably, yeah, we created the repository and so on. Perfect. Okay, so now we should be able to submit the builds. It's sad that we wasted some time on this, but okay. Dist-git hello. Okay. So for our development testing purposes, if copper full name doesn't equal this, and continue, right? So we should generate 2 row height transactions, but 1 actually, because we exit here. So we should generate 1 action, 1 row height transaction that is going to be for this project. We will not know if it is for the hello build or the at build, but that doesn't matter. And then we can do all of this stuff. So if we jump to, since we are still building, Pulp here, get content, see that here we are getting the fields. So currently we are getting the PRN ID and location ref. Maybe the PRN will be useful here. I doubt it. Let's do PRN instead. Maybe it will be useful here. If not, I think it will not. Then we will need to here we will need to add a pulp ref or something similar to that, maybe ref only, or I don't know what's the field name, but we will need to add it here. Therefore we will have it in the tuple here and or in the dictionary here, and we will be able to take that. Perfect, we have successes. Good. So let's get back to our pretending. So if we okay, kill the action dispatcher. No. Let's run the action dispatcher again. If we go to front end and run branching, we should get 1. See, processing directory, first things, test pulp branching, fresh new build roots. Okay, whatever that means. Okay, what happens in here? Nothing, because the server isn't running yet. And maybe let's comment out the breakpoint here so it doesn't get stuck. Let's start the server, back to logs. So it should get processed soon. I hear some noise above my head, so the neighbors might start drilling into holes again. So if that happens, we'll probably have to cut the recording short. But hopefully we still have another 15 minutes. I need to run to the meeting then anyway. But hopefully we have another 15 minutes. So does something happening? Pending job, pending actions. Get. Okay, this should get the actions, right? we didn't generate any actions, or exit. So did we get here actually? Fuck. Roll high to release. Did we get here actually? If we kill this again, run this. We did, didn't we? Copper data. So action like this should get generated. Hello, add. Okay, so these two bill. Okay. So if we run this, the action must have been generated. Not possible, it wasn't. So let's run the server. Let's take a look once again. If not, we will jump to the database. We will search for the newest actions. We will take the ID from there and we will run it manually. And we will do just that. Okay. So, database here. Select everything from action, order by ID desk, limit 5. So this is whatever action not related to our stuff because it doesn't have the builds list. Storage, devel, reason, this isn't it either. Review, no. So it must be this one, or this one. Okay, let's clear it. Let's do 3 because I cannot see it. So, do you see any build IDs here? Shoots, upstream, storage reason, devel. Then we can probably check like action, we don't commit. That's the problem. How is it possible that it worked before though? But yes, this doesn't commit. Oh, okay. Then, pardon me. Maybe we should break instead of how many loops? That's 2 loops. Anyway, for our fake code, we will do this, and we will kill the server. We will run this again. Sure. If we jump back to database, is there something different? Builds. Nice. I think this is supposed to create the project, but the forking one also does create the project, so it doesn't matter. Strange thing, there isn't. Oh yeah, it is. So we'll do this ID. We'll go back to actions, kill the dispatcher. We now have the build ID, the action ID. We will run the server again, and we will put our, okay, let's fuck this and run this. Okay, completely wrong. So is there a, what's the problem now? I think maybe we don't have the right storage. Is it possible? So if we take a look here, put it at the very top, run this, self storage is backend storage. So we didn't create storage properly. In the data, because that's the next step, data, next step, upstream. Okay, the storage isn't here. Why? I remember modifying the action. Sender height to release. I get stashed, remember? I get stashed. So git stash pop. The fuck I popped now. Jesus Christ. So breakpoint. Okay, that's fine. Stash is here. Yes, this is it, right? Stage three-way. Okay, I never do this, so we'll see if it helped. Right, because the data is here. Storage. Okay, seems we are returning storage now. Good, the stash apply worked. Now we need to run the new action then, because our previous action is broken. So we have 5 more minutes. I really want to get this done. So we generated a new action. We can kill this. We can go to database and select again. And now '86 was our previous. Yes, that's our previous. Jesus, no. Don't tell me I did break something. Or maybe we didn't actually get here. That's the problem. That's the fucking problem. So we had to do something. This should be already forked. So I think we can skip this. And this again. Hopefully we'll get to the debugger. Data. C storage 1. Continue. Now we have a new action. It has built. It has storage. Okay, so this is our 7. We will run. No, we will run the server again, and we'll jump to the action. We'll run the action. Fine. Self storage, Pulp storage, good. And we are actually in the second debugger that we wanted, which is here. Now, the question is, what happens if we use the arguments like this with our PRNs? So pp success is true. Interesting. By the way, package refs is empty. That's why it's success. So this is okay, this is an issue. Why is package refs empty? pp rpms is empty. Okay. pp response is success, but it's empty. Okay, because we forgot to implement this part. Stupid dum-dums. So pp data, we don't have the build ID here. Build ID isn't anywhere here. So in the storage class, I remember I did the same thing for forking. Fork probably project. For Pulp, of course. And see, I did this thing. So I created build ID based on top of the directory name. So build ID will be source there. No, this will be based on top of the build. If we do pp build, see, we have this. So if we build split and we do build ID, okay, if we do this, build ID, is the number. Good. So we have the build ID. We have the breakpoint here. Okay, kill this again. So we are here. pp rpms. Good. pp package refs. These are PRNs instead of refs. Now, will the I don't want to join that again. Okay, it will be faster to do it. So like this. Success true. Maybe it can work. Okay, so if we take a look at Pulp, this should actually, create repository version should do publish actually. So if we take a look at our Frostix test Pulp branching, we have the raw height chute with the original results, right? We have the newly created, and the H is here, and the repository is here, because we are still at the because we are still at the phase. We are iterating over the builds, and we are still doing the first one. So this looks good actually. If we do continue, should get into another debugger for the add build, I would say. Yes. Build is add, sure. Next. Okay, backend result enum. So we failed horribly somewhere. Must be string, not a real number, not the background worker demonized part. Okay, this is completely okay. We will ignore this probably. I want to comment this out. So this is PRNs. So our code is accurate. Now let's run this again. Maybe it failed because of the debugger. I'm not sure. Maybe it will fail again. Okay, it failed again, but it's somewhere beside the code, I would say. If we refresh, we are in the branched one, packages, and we have the add. Okay, so we successfully branched it. This works, guys, this works. I mean, we didn't finish the code to its very refined state because that will take some more time. But actually, looking at it, we maybe don't need a special abstractions for this, and we can maybe keep it as is even. So that's good. We will definitely need to do some testing and so on. That will be crucial part. We need to figure out what the hell is this, because I have no idea. I'm starting to get an idea. Because we need to, of course, this is this. So we need to do testing. We probably just figured out the traceback. So all in all, very good. I thought this will nice. I thought this would take maybe 8 hours of my life because the code looked quite complicated, but maybe I just looked at it when I was tired. Nice. I'm going to end the recording here. See you all guys later. Bye.